What is happening, agents? This is your boy Infamous Trickster, and today we're going to be bringing you another video. For this one, we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. So I'm going to be going over a gear set. Now, the gear set that we're talking about for today is the Negotiator's Dilemma. Okay, so we're going to go over stats, we're going to go over how it works, ideal situations for it, how it works for PvP. So let's get into it. So first off, we've got the mask. So we've got 2-piece, 3-piece, and 4-piece. Now I currently have 5 pieces on here. You don't necessarily need 5 pieces because the 5th piece doesn't really benefit you if you have anything else that might be better. So we've got, so the 2-piece of this Negotiator's Dilemma set gives you 15% critical hit chance. 3-piece gives you 20% critical hit damage, and the 4-piece set gives you the talent called Hostile Negotiations. So what Hostile Negotiations does is critical hits mark enemies for 20 seconds, up to 3 marks total. When you critically hit a marked enemy, all other marked enemies take 60% of the damage dealt. Whenever a marked enemy dies, gain plus 2% critical hit damage, stacking up to 20 times, or until combat ends. Okay, so I'm going to go over the rest of the gear and then we'll get into how this works. So the backpack, so the same thing. This one gives you 9.8 weapon damage, 7.7 critical hit damage, and 4.9 as the mod slot. Now, the talent on the backpack gives critical measures. Increases hostile negotiations damage to additional marked enemies from 60% to 100%. So the way it works is if you don't use the backpack, you only get 60% damage on additional marked enemies. With the backpack, it increases damage from 60% to 100% damage. Now the chest piece isn't something that I necessarily use for this build. This is currently for a rifle build. So this one here, you'd want to use a Fenris Group AB chest because it gives assault rifle damage. Now I know you could use an SMG build instead, but for me I just wanted to try out the Chameleon a little bit, and I figured why not try it with this set. So the gloves that we've got, we're looking at 7.2 weapon damage and 5.1 critical hit chance. Holster, we're looking at 3.4 weapon damage and 5% critical hit chance. I should definitely take a look to see if I can get this increased. And the knee pads, we're looking at 9.8 weapon damage and 5% critical hit chance. Okay, so let's go to our stats here. Now, as you can see, I'm very close to getting the cap at 60%. I'm 0.9% off right now, but that's not a problem. We just have to rework some numbers here and there. But you want to be maxed at 60% crit chance for this build. Okay, so skills that I'm using. The reason why I'm using these skills is primarily because this build is a very squishy build. Okay, I find myself having to run for cover and take cover very often with this build. As I mentioned, it's very squishy. So the 2 skills that I use for it are primarily, we're looking at the Reviver Hive. So once you're downed, it revives you while not on cooldown. Okay. And second, we're looking at the Crusader Shield. Now the reason why we use the Crusader Shield is just for those last minute hiding covers. So this one here, it lets you still use the assault rifle with the shield equipped. Okay, so I don't lose out on any damage that I might want to put out while I'm running for cover. Now the weapon that I mentioned, we're looking at the Chameleon here. Now I know some people have used the Chatterbox as well, but this one here, we're using the Chameleon. So the reason why I wanted to use the Chameleon is because it gives the talent Adaptive Instincts. So there's a chance to get 20% critical hit chance, a chance to get 80% weapon damage, and a chance to get 150 reload speed. Now the secondary weapon that I'm using is not really meant for this build or anything like that. Just have it equipped because it's got some pretty good damage on it, and it's another assault rifle. And it's the Pyromaniac. Talents are perfectly ignited on here, but that's not really used much for this build. Now, some people were asking me about how the Negotiator's Dilemma works. It does not work with status effect. It is not considered a status effect. It has its own terms. It does not work with the status effect stat. So we're going to go into the gun range here, just so I can show you guys how this works. Okay, so at the bottom, where right under the ammo count, you see a green icon there. So that's the Negotiator's Dilemma, showing that it's ready to go. So let's get into it, show you how it works. So we've got a few units here, so we're going to mark up this unit here. See that red mark there? That's letting you know that Negotiator's Dilemma is activated on this unit. Now remember, we're able to activate it up onto 3 other units. So now we've got it on 3 units. We're going to wait for this to die out. So we're going to go ahead and mark up that unit again, and we're going to see how it works. So if you guys notice, I did not shoot at that unit at all there. I only shot at this one, and both this unit and that unit took damage while I was only shooting at that unit there. Okay? Now the next thing I want to get into is range does not matter on this talent. So let's go ahead and let's mark up that unit all the way back there. So you guys see that unit all the way in the back there? So it's got Negotiator's Dilemma on it here. We are going to mow it down all the way from here. So notice that one is gone now. It's not there anymore. Okay, so range does not affect it. As far as I know, there is no current range limit on here. As long as you're in combat, it stays on. Now the good thing about it is, even in cover, that unit's going to take damage here. Watch this. So I did not shoot this unit, but that unit instead, and he still died. Now ideally, this is actually really good for PvP, because let's say you come up to a group of 2 or 3 people in the dark zone, and you want to start taking them out, but you're thinking 2 versus 3 or 2 versus 1 or whatever. Doesn't matter, as long as you mark them up. This unit goes behind cover. This one's still taking damage to the right here. So even when the unit goes behind cover, watch this. Goes behind cover there. It's taking damage. The unit to the right is dead without me shooting it, only shooting that one there. So I hope you guys found this video useful and informative. If you guys liked what you saw here, definitely like the video, subscribe to my channel, and you'll be notified of any future videos that I put out. I'm going to be doing more videos on other gear sets, their talents, how they work, and the ideal situations that they are used in. That's it for now, guys. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments below. Until next time, Infamous Trickster out.
Infamous Trickster Gaming.